The transmission arrived at 1427 GMT on a Tuesday that would forever divide human history into before and after. Every screen on Earth, from Times Square billboards to kitchen tablets, flickered simultaneously as the alien broadcast overwrote. Every frequency, every satellite, every communication network humanity had built. The creature that appeared was magnificent in its horror. Standing nearly 12 feet tall, its crystalline exoskeleton caught and refracted light in patterns that hurt human eyes to follow. 6 arms moved with mechanical precision, each ending in appendages that seemed designed for both delicate work and brutal efficiency. When it spoke, the words came not through sound, but directly into every human mind, a psychic invasion that left billions reeling. I am Vorthak Prime, Herald of the Celestial Dominion. Your species has been evaluated. Your world has been claimed. You have 72 of your rotations to evacuate this system or face complete eradication. This is not negotiation. This is notification. The message repeated in every human language, dialect, and even sign language variants, demonstrating a surveillance network that had been watching Earth far longer than anyone wanted to contemplate. Then, as suddenly as it began, the transmission ended, leaving humanity staring at their screens in stunned silence. President Caney Valaris stood in the Situation Room, surrounded by the finest military minds on the planet. Defense Secretary Rhea Blackthorne spread holographic displays across the conference table, showing massive energy signatures detected at the edge of the solar system, ships that dwarfed Earth's largest space stations. "How many?" Valaris asked, his voice steady despite the weight of 8 billion lives pressing down on his shoulders. "Conservative estimate? 200 capital ships, each roughly the size of Manhattan. Unknown number of support vessels. They're maintaining position just past Pluto's orbit," Blackthorne replied, her fingers dancing across the tactical display. General Maxon Grimm, head of the newly formed Solar Defense Command, leaned forward. "Mr. President, our entire fleet consists of 47 combat-capable vessels. The math isn't encouraging." Valaris studied the display, watching the alien formation hold its position like patient predators. "What about the Lazarus Protocol?" The room fell silent. Admiral Zera Nightfall, commander of humanity's deep space fleet, shifted uncomfortably. "Sir, Lazarus is theoretical. We've never field-tested the quantum tunneling drives, and the energy requirements would strip every fusion reactor on Earth," Valaris finished. "I know the cost, Admiral. The question is, do we have another choice?" Through the reinforced windows of the Situation Room, Washington, D.C. continued its normal routine, unaware that their leaders were debating the survival of their species. Children played in parks. Commuters rushed to catch trains. The ordinary miracle of human life continued, oblivious to the extinction-level threat hanging over their heads. "There is one more thing," said Dr. Lysander Vex, the theoretical physicist who had designed humanity's most advanced weapons. "The aliens made an assumption. They assumed we'd run." Valaris turned to the scientist. "Explain." "Their positioning, their timing, even their message. It's all calculated for a species that would flee. They've done this before, probably thousands of times. Primitive species detect their approach, panic, and evacuate. Clean, efficient, no resources wasted on actual warfare. But we're not running," Blackthorne said slowly, understanding dawning in her eyes. Vex nodded grimly. "No, we're not." The next 48 hours transformed Earth from a peaceful world into a fortress. Every space dock from Luna Station to the orbital rings around Mars buzzed with activity as humanity's scattered fleet converged on Sol. Ships that had been exploring distant star systems received encrypted recalls. Mining vessels were hastily retrofitted with weapons. Even the massive cargo haulers were pressed into service, their holds converted into missile bays. Commander Astor Ironforge stood on the bridge of the Terran battleship Defiance watching, through the viewport as humanity's desperate armada assembled. The sight should have been inspiring. Sleek destroyers, bristling frigates, and the massive dreadnought Sovereign's Will forming defensive formations around Earth. Instead, it felt like watching children gather sticks to fight a hurricane. "Sir, we're receiving final deployment orders," reported Lieutenant Commander Nix Stormrider, his tactical officer. "Lazarus Protocol is authorized. All ships are to maintain minimum safe distance from Earth during activation." Ironforge nodded, trying to project confidence he didn't feel. The Lazarus Protocol would transform Earth's moon into the largest railgun in human history, accelerating projectiles to near-light speed using quantum tunneling technology. The energy requirements would black out Earth for months, but if it worked, they could strike the alien fleet before it even knew what hit them. "How long until they reach engagement range?" he asked. "At current approach speed, 18 hours, Stormrider replied. "Sir, there's something else. Long-range sensors are detecting energy signatures from their ships. The readings are unusual." "Unusual how?" Before Stormrider could answer, alerts began cascading across every console on the bridge. Throughout the fleet, similar alarms were sounding as sensors detected something impossible. The alien ships were accelerating. Not moving faster, but literally shrinking the space between themselves and Earth. Dr. Vex's voice crackled over the fleet communication network. "All ships. Be advised, the aliens are using some form of spatial manipulation. They're not traveling through space, they're folding it. Revised time to engagement, 6 hours. Panic threatened to spread through the fleet, but Admiral Nightfall's voice cut through the chaos with commanding authority. "All vessels maintain formation. This changes nothing except our timeline. Lazarus teams, begin final preparations immediately." On Luna, the massive excavation that had taken place over the past 2 days reached completion. Humanity's greatest engineering achievement, a railgun barrel that ran completely through the moon's core, powered up for its first and likely final firing. The moon itself would probably not survive the discharge, but that seemed a small price to pay for humanity's survival. Ironforge watched as his ship's crew worked with desperate efficiency. These weren't career soldiers anymore. They were teachers, engineers, miners, and farmers who had answered humanity's call. Stormrider had been a university professor before the crisis. The young woman operating the weapons console had been studying marine biology just days ago. "Sir," Stormrider called out, "we're detecting massive energy buildups from the alien fleet. Whatever they're planning to hit us with, it's big." Through the fleet network, tactical data flowed between ships. The aliens were indeed preparing something. Energy signatures that made human nuclear weapons look like firecrackers. But there was also something else in the data, something that made Ironforge's tactical mind begin to calculate new possibilities. "Lieutenant, Commander," he said slowly, "analyze their formation pattern. Look at their ship distribution." Stormrider's fingers flew over her console. After a moment, she looked up with surprise. "Sir, they're clustered around a central vessel. It's almost like they're protecting something." "Or powering something," Ironforge realized. "Send this data to Fleet Command immediately and notify all ships. We may have found their weak point." The countdown to humanity's last stand had begun, but for the first time since the crisis started, Ironforge felt something other than dread. He felt the cold fire of purpose that had driven humanity from caves to the stars. The alien fleet materialized at the edge of Earth's gravity well with the terrifying elegance of a cosmic storm front. What had appeared massive on sensors proved to be beyond human comprehension in reality. Ships that stretched for kilometers, their crystalline hulls refracting starlight into patterns that seemed to bend space-time itself. The central vessel, designated Target Alpha by human tactical computers, dwarfed even these titans. Admiral Nightfall stood in the command center buried deep beneath Luna's surface, watching as final preparations for the Lazarus shot reached completion. Around her, technicians who had worked without sleep for the past 3 days made their final calibrations on humanity's ultimate weapon. "Targeting solution confirmed," announced Chief Engineer Corin Veilhart, his voice hoarse from exhaustion. "Single-shot maximum velocity projectile aimed at target Alpha's core structure. Power levels at 98% and climbing," added Dr. Vex from his position at the quantum control station. "Admiral, we're as ready as we'll ever be." Through the communication network, reports flowed in from across the solar system. Mars' orbital defense platform reported alien scouts probing their perimeter. The asteroid mining stations had gone dark. Whether from evacuation or destruction, no one knew. Only Earth's immediate vicinity remained under human control, and that was about to be tested. "Admiral," came Commander Ironforge's voice from the Defiance. "Alien fleet is powering weapons. Energy signatures are off the charts. Whatever they're preparing to hit us with, we have maybe 10 minutes before they can fire." Nightfall studied the tactical display one final time. Every calculation suggested this plan was madness. Even if the Lazarus shot succeeded in damaging the alien command ship, humanity's fleet would still face impossible odds. But sometimes, madness was the only rational response to an irrational situation. "All ships assume attack formation Delta 7. Prepare for immediate engagement following Lazarus discharge," she commanded. Then, turning to her weapons teams, "Fire!" The moon died beautifully. Luna's north pole erupted in a pillar of coherent energy that painted the solar system in brilliant white light. The railgun projectile, a tungsten rod the size of a city block, accelerated to 97% of V. Light speed, crossed the distance to the alien fleet in 3.7 seconds of real time, though relativistic effects made the journey seem both instantaneous and eternal. The impact against target Alpha's shields created a light show visible from Mars. Energy barriers that could have deflected asteroids flared and collapsed under the kinetic assault. The projectile punched through the alien command ship's hull like paper, its passage creating a wound that vented atmosphere and debris in a glittering stream. But the alien fleet's response came faster than human reflexes could follow. Beams of coherent energy lanced out from dozens of ships, converging on Luna's shattered remains. What had once been humanity's companion in the night sky became an expanding cloud of superheated debris. The Lazarus facility, along with Admiral Nightfall and 3,000 of humanity's best engineers, vanished in an instant of nuclear fire. Commander Ironforge felt his ship shudder as Luna's destruction sent shockwaves through local space. "All ships. Luna Station is gone. Repeat. Luna Base is gone. Command authority transfers to fleet commanders." Through the tactical network, damage reports flooded in. The alien retaliation had been swift and precise, but their formation was disrupted. Target Alpha was listing badly, its crystalline hull cracked and bleeding atmosphere. Several escort vessels had moved to support it, creating gaps in their defensive perimeter. "This is our chance," Ironforge announced to the fleet. "All ships, engage at will. Make every shot count." The human fleet surged forward like wolves scenting wounded prey. They were still outnumbered 5-1, but for the first time since the crisis began, they had drawn alien blood. And blood, Ironforge had learned in his years of military service, was the universe's greatest equalizer. The battle that followed would be studied by military historians for generations, if any historians survived to study it. Humanity's smaller, more maneuverable ships darted between the massive alien vessels like angry hornets, their weapons leaving bright scars across crystalline hulls. The aliens, clearly unprepared for such aggressive tactics, struggled to bring their massive guns to bear on targets that refused to engage in the stately, formation-based combat they expected. Commander Ironforge pushed the Defiance through a barrel roll that would have been impossible in atmosphere, sliding beneath the belly of an alien cruiser, while his weapons officer, Ensign Kira Flameheart, poured fusion torpedoes into what their sensors suggested were power conduits. The alien ship shuddered under the assault, its return fire going wide as its systems fluctuated. "Target their joints," Ironforge called out over the fleet network. "These ships are modular. If we can break the connections, we can separate their sections." The tactical insight spread through the human fleet like wildfire. Years of studying alien technology through telescopic observation had given humanity's scientists theories about crystalline construction methods. Now those theories were being tested at point-blank range with high explosives. Lieutenant Commander Stormrider coordinated the Defiance's attack patterns while simultaneously analyzing incoming sensor data. "Sir, I'm detecting massive power fluctuations from target Alpha. That Lazarus shot may have done more damage than we realized." Before Ironforge could respond, space around them exploded into chaos. The wounded alien command ship was venting something into the void. Not atmosphere or debris, but what looked like a cloud of metallic insects. Thousands of them, each no larger than a human fighter but moving with purpose and coordination that suggested shared intelligence. "Drone fighters!" called out Captain Viridian Ashblade from the destroyer Storm's Edge. "They're launching some kind of automated swarm." The alien drones moved unlike any human-designed aircraft, flowing through space like schools of fish, their formations shifting and adapting with every change in the tactical situation. They struck the human fleet with surgical precision, targeting engine compartments and weapon systems with an accuracy that suggested they were analyzing and adapting to human ship designs in real time. Ironforge watched as the frigate New Horizon disappeared in a ball of plasma as dozens of drones converged on its reactor core. "All ships, evasive maneuvers, don't let them swarm you." But the human fleet had advantages the aliens hadn't expected. Every human pilot was an individual, trained to think independently and adapt to changing situations. Where alien drones moved in predictable patterns, human ships moved with the chaotic creativity that had carried their species from stone tools to the stars. Ensign Flameheart had been a racing pilot before the war, and her fingers danced across her weapons console with the same precision she'd once used to navigate asteroid fields at impossible speeds. Her targeting solutions found gaps in the drone formations that computer models said shouldn't exist, exploiting the brief moments when their coordination algorithms lagged behind rapidly changing battle conditions. "Sir, I'm reading massive energy build-up from the alien capital ships," Stormrider reported. "They're preparing something big." Through the tactical display, Ironforge could see the alien fleet regrouping. The surprise and confusion of the human attack was wearing off, and their superior numbers were beginning to tell. Worse, the drone swarms were learning from every engagement, becoming more effective with each passing minute. "Fleet Command, this is Defiance," he broadcast on the emergency channel. "We need to concentrate fire on target Alpha while we still can. If that command ship recovers, we're done." But even as he spoke, Ironforge could see the truth in his tactical displays. The human fleet was being ground down, ship by ship. They had hurt the aliens, proven that humanity wouldn't go quietly into extinction, but proving a point and winning a war were two very different things. Then Lieutenant Commander Stormrider looked up from her sensor station with an expression of disbelief. "Sir, I'm detecting new contacts. Multiple ships coming in fast from the outer system." "More aliens?" Ironforge asked, his heart sinking. "No, sir," Stormrider replied, her voice filled with something that might have been hope. "They're broadcasting human identification codes. The ships that emerged from the darkness beyond Pluto bore the scars of desperate modification and jury-rigged weapons systems. These were the vessels that had been too far from Sol to answer the initial recall, deep space explorers, colony ships, and mining platforms that had received humanity's call for help and dropped everything to race home. They arrived not as a coordinated fleet, but as a stream of individual ships, each captain making their own decision about how to enter a battle that had already been raging for hours. Captain Lyrium Goldstrike commanded the converted asteroid. Minor rock breaker, a vessel never designed for combat but now bristling with mining charges repurposed as weapons. Behind her came the exploration ship Far Horizon, its scientific sensors now directing targeting systems for military hardware stripped from a dozen different sources. The colony transport New Earth had ejected its passenger modules and filled the spaces with torpedo launchers. "This is gold strike to all human vessels," her voice crackled across the battle network. "We're coming in hot and ready to raise hell. Someone want to tell us where to point our guns?" Commander Ironforge had never been so glad to hear another human voice. "Captain Goldstrike, concentrate fire on the damaged command vessel. Target Alpha. We've heard it, but it's still operational." The reinforcement fleet struck the alien formation from an unexpected angle, their arrival coinciding with a renewed push by the battered ships of the original defense fleet. What had been a grinding battle of attrition suddenly became a three-dimensional melee as human ships attacked from multiple vectors simultaneously. Goldstrike's rockbreaker proved that industrial equipment could be just as deadly as purpose-built weapons. Her mining charges, designed to crack asteroids, punched through alien armor plating with devastating effect. "These crystalline bastards are tougher than granite," she reported cheerfully, "but everything breaks if you hit it hard enough." The alien drones, programmed to respond to coordinated fleet movements, struggled to adapt to the chaotic individual tactics of the human reinforcements. Each ship fought differently, using whatever weapons and advantages they possessed. The Far Horizon used its powerful sensor array to jam alien communications, creating confusion in their formations. The New Earth released clouds of navigation beacons reprogrammed to emit electronic interference, turning space around the alien fleet into a maze of false contacts and sensor ghosts. But it was Dr. Vex's voice, transmitted from a small research vessel that had somehow survived Luna's destruction, that changed everything. "All ships. I've been analyzing the battle data. The aliens' quantum manipulation drive. It's not just propulsion. It's integrated into their entire ship design. If we can disrupt their spatial folding technology, their ships will lose structural integrity." Lieutenant Commander Stormrider's eyes widened as she processed this information. "Sir, the quantum resonance frequency. If we could synchronize our weapons to match their drive harmonics. Could we destabilize their entire fleet?" Ironforge finished. "Theoretically, yes. But we'd need precise coordination across all ships, and the timing would have to be perfect." Ironforge made the decision that would either save humanity or destroy what remained of their fleet. "All ships. All ships. This is Defiance. We're going to attempt a synchronized strike on the alien fleet. Dr. Vex is transmitting targeting frequencies now. When I give the signal, every ship fires simultaneously at their assigned target." Across the scattered human fleet, weapons officers frantically recalibrated their systems to match the quantum resonance data. Ships that had been fighting independently for hours now had to coordinate with split-second precision. It was the kind of complex maneuver that military academies spent months teaching, and they had minutes to execute it. The alien command ship, Target Alpha, was showing signs of recovery. Its damaged sections were being repaired by crystalline growths that seemed to rebuild the hull from the inside out. If humanity was going to act, it had to be now. "All ships ready," came the reports from across the fleet. Ironforge watched the tactical display, waiting for the moment when maximum human firepower could be brought to bear. The alien drones were regrouping, the capital ships were rotating to bring fresh weapons batteries into play, and in the center of it all, Target Alpha was slowly restoring its awesome destructive capability. "Fire," he commanded. The synchronized strike hit the alien fleet like the hammer of an angry god. Every human weapon, from the massive plasma cannons of the dreadnought Sovereign's Will to the repurposed mining charges of converted cargo haulers, fired in perfect unison, their energy signatures tuned to match the quantum frequencies that held the alien ships together. The effect was immediate and catastrophic. Across the enemy formation, crystalline hulls began to resonate at frequencies their structure couldn't absorb. Hairline cracks appeared in the alien ship's surfaces, spreading like spider webs through their hulls. The smaller vessels shattered first, their fragments spinning away in clouds of glittering debris. The larger ships held together longer, but even they couldn't withstand the harmonic assault. Target Alpha, already weakened by the Lazarus strike, came apart in sections, its massive bulk separated along construction joints, each piece trailing atmosphere and alien crew members into the vacuum. The command vessel that had delivered humanity's death sentence became an expanding cloud of wreckage, its psychic communications finally, blessedly silent. Commander Ironforge watched the destruction through the Defiance's viewport, hardly able to believe what he was seeing. The impossible alien fleet, the force that had seemed so overwhelmingly superior just hours ago, was disintegrating before his eyes. Drone swarms, cut off from their command vessels, flew in confused patterns before shutting down entirely. The few surviving alien ships began to retreat, folding space around themselves as they fled toward the outer system. "All ships, pursue and engage," Ironforge commanded. "We don't let any of them escape to report back to their empire." The human fleet, battered and reduced to barely half its original strength, gave chase. This wasn't about military strategy anymore. It was about sending a message to whatever cosmic empire had thought humanity would roll over and die without a fight. Captain Goldstrike's voice crackled over the communications network. "Ironforge, my sensors are picking up something from the retreating ships. They're broadcasting on multiple frequencies. Looks like they're sending data back to their home territory. Can we jam it? Negative. They're using that same spatial folding trick. The transmissions are taking shortcuts through space-time that we can't intercept." Dr. Vex's research vessel pulled alongside the Defiance, its hull scarred from the battle, but its crew intact. "Commander, I've been analyzing the alien communication patterns. They're not just reporting their defeat, they're uploading everything. Battle tactics, human ship specifications, our quantum resonance discovery. They're preparing their empire for our capabilities." Ironforge felt a chill that had nothing to do with the vacuum of space. How long before they come back? Unknown. But when they do, they'll be ready for us. The last alien ship vanished into folded space, leaving the human fleet alone among the debris of their victory. Earth hung in the distance, blue and beautiful and suddenly more precious than ever. They had won this battle, but everyone understood that it was only the beginning. Lieutenant Commander Stormrider looked up from her sensor station with the expression of grim satisfaction. "Sir, I'm reading total alien fleet destruction. We got them all except for the 3 ships that retreated." "Casualties?" Ironforge asked, though he dreaded the answer. 14 ships lost, 8 more with critical damage, approximately 3,000 KIA. She paused. "Sir, there's something else. We're receiving transmissions from across the solar system. Mars, the asteroid belt, even some of the outer colonies. They're all reporting the same thing." "Which is?" "Every human settlement, every mining station, every exploration outpost. They're asking the same question. When do we start building the real fleet?" Ironforge smiled for the first time since the crisis began. The aliens had made one crucial miscalculation. They had assumed that defeating humanity's small defensive fleet would break human resistance. Instead, they had shown 8 billion humans exactly what they were capable of when threatened with extinction. "Signal Earth Command," he ordered. "Tell them to begin immediate mobilization of all industrial capacity. And send a message to every human settlement in known space. We're at war, and we're going to win it." As the battered human fleet began the journey home, Commander Ironforge looked out at the stars with new eyes. Somewhere out there, an alien empire was preparing for humanity's next move. They would come with better weapons, improved tactics, and hard-earned respect for human capabilities. They would find humanity ready for them. The aliens had wanted Earth to surrender. Instead, they had awakened something far more dangerous than they could have imagined. A species that refused to go quietly into the dark, and now possessed both the knowledge and the motivation to carry that refusal to the stars themselves. Thus, real war was just beginning, and for the first time in galactic history, humanity would not be fighting it alone.